So moving on to question number 11. A student performs an experiment testing a hypothesis that a slightly acidic soil environment is more beneficial for the growth of the plant Brassica rapa parachinensis, a vegetable commonly known as choy, than a neutral soil environment. She plants 16 seeds of choy in a mixture of equal amounts of coffee grounds, which are highly acidic, and potting soil and another 16 seeds in potting soil without coffee grounds as the control for the experiment. The two groups of seeds were exposed to the same growing conditions and monitored for 3 weeks, which finding, if true, would most directly weaken the student's hypothesis. So we need, usually we are getting something which is supporting the hypothesis, but in this case, they are talking about weakening the student hypothesis, something which can weaken the student's hypothesis. Choice A is the best answer because it describes an experimental outcome. What it says, the choy planted in the soil without coffee grounds were significantly taller. So this is without coffee grounds and they were still significantly taller at the end of the experiment than choy planted in the mixture of soil and coffee grounds. Whereas the student's hypothesis is that slightly acidic environment is more beneficial for the growth. But if it is showing that the choy planted in soil without coffee grounds was taller, that means it will weaken the student's hypothesis. A is the best answer because it describes an experimental outcome that would most directly weaken the student's hypothesis. According to the text, the student hypothesizes that Brassica rapa parachinensis, that is choy will benefit more from acidic soil than from neutral soil. The text then explains that the student planted 16 choy seeds in potting soil with coffee grounds added to increase acidity and another 16 seeds in soil without coffee grounds as a control group, just to compare. That is a group identical to the experimental group except for the experimental modification being tested. If the hypothesis were correct, the plants in the more acidic soil and coffee grounds mixture would grow faster than those in the control group. However, choice A, so if it is good, it will grow faster. But choice A proposes a scenario in which the plants in soil without coffee grounds were significantly taller than those in a more acidic mixture. So that is an outcome that will weaken the hypothesis that higher acidity is beneficial to the plant's growth. B therefore is incorrect because this one says the choy grown in the soil without coffee grounds weighed significantly less at the end of the experiment than the choy grown in the mixture of soil and coffee grounds. If the choy planted in the neutral soil produced less plant matter and therefore weighed less than the choy planted in the acidic soil and coffee grounds mixture, this finding would actually strengthen. This will strengthen the student's hypothesis, not weaken it. We need something to weaken it. And choice C, the choy seeds planted in the soil without coffee grounds sprouted significantly later in the experiment than did the seeds planted in the mixture of soil and coffee grounds. C is also incorrect because if seeds planted in neutral soil without coffee grounds sprouted significantly later, so they are sprouting significantly later if we say in the acidic soil and coffee grounds mixture, this finding would strengthen, not weaken the student's hypothesis that acidic soil benefits choy And D also is incorrect because if seeds planted in the neutral soil, so what this says is that significantly fewer of the choy seeds planted in the soil without coffee grounds sprouted. So they didn't even sprout not much sprouted without coffee grounds than did the seeds planted in the mixture of soil and coffee grounds. So if this is true, that if seeds planted in the neutral soil without coffee grounds sprouted significantly fewer plants than seeds planted in the acidic soil and coffee grounds mixture did, this finding would strengthen, not weaken the student's hypothesis that choy benefits from acidic soil. So I hope that's clear.